love riding my bike. I love running. I don't care what they think about it. I love it.
At that point, when I knew I was going to win, chills just went up and down my entire body.
I don't believe there are any good or bad foods. Food is food.
I still feel so passionate about getting that record that I'm like, I'm just going to do it.
As an athlete, I was like, what's my story, or what's your story? What can you learn from it? And what can you teach people?
Welcome to the IronWomen podcast. I'm Alyssa Godesky here with my co-host, Haley Chura. And Haley, I think last week you mentioned that you had been doing some training, kind of getting into the rhythm in Bozeman. And as I was in my week last week, I was like, wait a second, what does Haley have on her calendar coming up that she's training for? So can you tell us, the eager fans of Haley Chura, what will be the next race on your calendar?
Top of the show. We're getting right into it. Waste no time. Hi, Alyssa. Good to chat with you. And I do have a race coming up, I think. I'm signed up for Ironman Chattanooga, actually.
Ooh,
so
okay.
This is a new one for me. I haven't raced the full in Chattanooga. I did race the 70.3 when it was the World Championships in 2017. And honestly, I would consider that one of the best races of my entire professional triathlon career. I finished 9th at that race, and it was just so special to get a top 10 finish at a world championship. It's the only time I've done that. And it was also very special because Chattanooga is, of course, just less than 2 hours driving distance away from Atlanta, Georgia, where I started my triathlon career. So that's a race that has always played a very special part in my heart. And the timing for the full has never quite worked out for me. It is end of September. It's September 29th this year. And the other big thing is that it's well known for having a downriver swim, which in the past has never really appealed for me. I think downriver swim, 116-mile bike ride, and of course a 26.2 very hilly and sometimes hot and humid marathon. So in the past, seeing myself as a swimmer, I think that downriver swim, I was like, oh no. And extra miles on the bike, I've just never gotten to 112 and wished I had 4 more. Have you?
Definitely not. No.
I mean, it's just, yeah. But this year I never really intended to race Nice. That was never on my radar. I'm very excited to watch and track Nice next weekend. It's so soon. That is, of course, the Ironman Women's World Championship this year. And I just never really felt the pull to race in Nice for the full. And I think Chattanooga being 1 week after that, it was one of those things where I was like, maybe it is a good year. And then of course in May, our 50-meter pool here closed. And so that put a damper on my swim training, which then made a downriver swim a lot more appealing. And I also recently heard that the bike course was changed because they didn't quite get the road permits. And so it is no longer 116 miles. It is back to 112.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know. So I'm just like, wait a second.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, it's like meant to be. So I know that on the If We Were Riding podcast, I think Laura Siddle was on there talking about, I think she's also planning to race. And I think she was very upset about the bike course change. And I will say, there's a contingent of people, at least one of us, who is not upset. It's now 3 laps, which also I kind of love. I'm someone who loves loops, right? I'm like, it's not the 22 loops I did in Miami. But I just think sometimes I enjoy getting more interaction with the age groupers. And my very first pro race was actually Ironman Arizona, which is also a 3-lap bike course. And I know that it can get crowded, but I don't know, just like where I am in my career, I think in how I handle races, sometimes I've had the very good fortune, my last 6 races ish or something like that have been all women, closed courses, championship style races. And so I'm like, okay, let's mix it up and let's have, a more traditional race experience. So I'm looking forward to that.
I am so excited for this. I think I love Chattanooga. I have raced the full there and the half there. And it's a great place for Ironman racing of all distances and of all distances that it could be. And I think this is going to really suit you. I think the only thing they forgot is to just reverse the swim so that it's upriver swim. But that would
be
also be
fun.
contingent on your pool being like, surprise, we're done renovations and it's like back open. So, but either way, even without that, I think you could still take an upriver swim, handle that much better than most pros would. So I'm really excited.
Chaos is really what I thrive on.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing. Like you can, as a pro, sometimes you are trying to find a course that suits you. Like there are times when it's like, okay, I want to have this kind of a performance. I'm going to have a course that suits me. I think where I am in my career, I've been a professional for 11 years and I've had a lot of really cool opportunities, really, really cool race opportunities. And I also am really proud of myself. I think I'm a more complete athlete than I was early in my career. And so there are reasons to do a race course that doesn't necessarily 100% suit you. But I think chaotic races actually really suit me really well. So if they want to switch that direction, that's okay with me.
Switch that
Last
direction
minute.
and like ensure that there would be no wetsuits around for people to be wearing. So, like just heat that water up. But no, I think that's awesome. And now, since this isn't a women's only a race, is there coverage at Chattanooga this year? Do we know?
I don't think so. No, because
Okay.
it's not part of the Ironman Pro Series. And I haven't seen a start list, but I feel like it is going to be a pretty well attended race. I imagine.
Definitely.
I mean, it's the I think second full Ironman with Kona slots. So obviously first one was Ironman Canada, which just happened. Sarah True won that. I think Sarah True and Jody Robertson got the Kona slots there. And so Chattanooga will also have 2. So that's going to bring in a lot of people. And while we'll chat about Nice, I'm sure, and of course Nice is happening one weekend before. I don't know if anyone's doing the double. That would be quite the double.
Yeah.
But you never know. 2 different continents even, but I think that, it's just one of those things. If you're not in Nice, like a lot of our sport does sort of gear up toward fall racing or early fall racing. And so this is another opportunity. And then if you are North American based, I think it's known as a really good race. So I expect there to be like a good field, like really good field. And it's known as just, everyone loves it. I mean, again, I haven't done the full, you say good things, even though it can be like brutal with those hills and the heat and whatnot, but hopefully the cheers offset that. I also have a couple athletes that I coach who are racing, and that's always special for me when I get to race alongside a couple of my athletes.
Yeah, that's super fun. I remember one year my mom was there helping me and we took Ramona, and I just remember it was so fun to have Ramona at one of my races because I brought her when I've been a spectator at an Ironman before and she's just stayed with me, but I've never very few times, I think once at Eagleman and then that race in Chattanooga, when my mom was there to take care of her and stuff was when she was able, and it was so hot. They ended up just basically staying in the hotel 99% of the time, which was fine. But to see Ramona at the finish line was always very special.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Good memories from Chattanooga.
Yeah. So, and then Quintana Roo, which is my bike sponsor, is based in Chattanooga. And again, lots of good memories there. And so it just felt right this year. It did. It just felt right. And so, yeah, finally might actually do an Ironman this year. So it's been a weird year for me. I mean, I think I went into it thinking I was going to do Ironman Texas early in the year and then had some really incredible opportunities with T100. And I'm glad I did those. I learned so much. And I think that racing in those T100 fields has made me a better racer and given me a little bit more confidence in my own racing. And Ironman is a distance that I don't think I've had some good races, but I still think there's rooms for improvement and there's things I can do better. And there's been times where I definitely, even thinking back to Kona last year, I think I finished that race because I just told myself, I'm like, this is your last one, just finish it. You can just never do this again. And here I am, I'm back. So I think that's a common narrative. A lot of us get ourselves through that because you get to the finish and you're just like, oh, that was so hard, but I could do this better and this better and this better. And so maybe this is that chance for me to execute that dream Ironman day. Who knows? Fingers crossed.
I've definitely had those thoughts in the middle of the race of never doing this again. This is the worst, And then, but I always generally get to the finish and even though it still might feel awful, I'm enjoying it at that point once it's like done, you know, but I do love the stories of the people who like still are like, no, never again. And they like sell their bike and they like start selling all of their equipment like in the minutes after, or like they did an Ironman abroad and they just like leave all of their stuff in Brazil or something like those stories are just
Wait,
the best.
Susan Lakey, didn't
Yeah.
she do that? She,
Yes.
triathlete columnist, she like threw her bike in a tree or something like that.
Something. Maybe off of, did she throw it in the river or something? I don't know.
I know there
Something.
was throwing a bike. I guess throwing it in a tree sounds like so much work.
It also doesn't make sense. I feel just
It's in her book.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Go get Susan Lakey's book and someone can fact check us on this. It's been a little while since I read it, but yeah, all of us do Ironman for our own reasons. And some of us just keep coming back.
And yeah, they can fact check us on that, Haley, and maybe they can tell us in our mailbag, which has no mailbags this week, about it, because even after I thought we were picking up you guys. I know you have questions because you send Haley and I questions individually sometimes, but please send them to our mailbag, ironwomenpodcast@gmail.com.
That's a good thing. And if for some reason you have sent me one individually and I did not answer, I apologize, but send it into the mailbag and Alyssa checks that inbox. So you're more likely to get an answer. I'm not the best sometimes. It's the DMs. Do you ever get the DMs on Instagram and then they're like in your hidden DMs and then you're like, realize it's like 4 weeks old and I'm like, oops, sorry.
Yeah, I'm really bad at anything that doesn't go into my Gmail, that doesn't get like starred or whatever. It can fall through the cracks very easily, I feel like. So yeah, just a price we pay living in this day and age, really.
Yes. But Alyssa, what's happening with you? I mean, you are getting ready to head to Nice. Is that still the plan?
That is still the plan, Haley. I'm super excited. I am leaving in just over a week to fly out to Nice for a handful of days to support our Biscay coaching athletes. I think we have 7 women out there racing. And it's going to be super fun. I am really stoked to get to see the race in this environment. I have been someone who because just so people know, the rumors about Kona not happening as the World Championships started like when I was first in, doing Ironman. I feel like I've been hearing that rumor for a decade. Yeah, I feel like definitely since when I started racing pro, I had been hearing that rumor. And I was always a big supporter of it because I never felt like Kona was like a great place for me to be racing anyway. So I was like, sure, move it somewhere cold and right? Like,
is Nice cold?
Nice
is not cold.
No, Nice is not, but I still always supported it being in different locations. I think it's also like, and you were on the East Coast for so long too. Like Kona's so hard to get to. It's just such a long travel day. I'm excited about the prospect of Europe. I think that's like a very easy travel day for people on the East Coast. And I like that it's just mixing up, right? I think that kind of stuff matters on a lot of levels for athletes. And Lord knows, racing in Nice is probably a lot more favorable for the Europeans. So I'm sure they're really happy. But anyway, I'm just excited to see a new course, a new dynamic, see it all kind of play out. I was warned that the beach there is rocks. If anyone else has tips for me, please feel free to send those into our mailbag at ironwomenpodcast@gmail.com. So I know the beach is rocks, and I know that I should start to try and say things in French before I say, I'm sorry, do you speak English, as like a show of politeness as much as I can. And I'm doing Duolingo, you guys. I've been slacking off a lot, but I am trying again. So, taking other tips, but I think it's going to be really fun. I will be out there with the Feisty crew. They are doing podcasts every day, just like they did in the Kona weeks. They'll be doing interviews with the professional women. I think I'm going to them on Friday for the podcasting. So make sure you catch that. Tune into the feed every day. There will be plenty of new content and you can feel like you are in Nice from wherever you are. And yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. And then Haley, I think we'll be recording while I'm still out there, so I can give you a fresh look on how it all went.
Your recap show. Are you going to be able to swim in the Mediterranean? I mean, are you going to like bring a pull buoy or like what's your physical status? We know that your knee has been injured, you had surgery, you're coming back. Are you someone gonna help you down the rocks and into the Mediterranean? Because I will say that swim in Nice is like chef's kiss. It is wonderful. It
Okay.
is that Mediterranean is beautiful. Like there's a reason everyone calls it like whatever is like, yeah, the French Riviera or whatever, the
Oh
fancy
yes.
words.
Okay. I'm bringing my pull buoy and my goggles and cap to get to swim there. I still am not kicking. I won't be
In a swimsuit, hopefully.
in a
Actually, no,
swimsuit.
you can
Actually,
go
yeah.
naked.
Yeah.
You can go naked there. Actually, you don't. It's swimsuit optional.
Which is perfect because these days the attire that fits me these days is limited. So maybe I will just embrace the French culture and just go for it. Pull buoy only. So and a cap. I feel like a cap and
Can we get
goggle.
a feisty reel of this? They could just like blur out some parts, but I will like, I don't know. Well, I will, pay money for this. I feel like paying money is not the right word. But I think we do need a feisty reel of you embracing the French culture at the nude beaches.
I wish that Ironman Chattanooga was before this trip, because then Haley, if you won Chattanooga, I would do it for you as like just a fun thing. But
maybe you can inspire me.
That's
I'm very inspired by
nude swimming. Yes.
Yeah. Skinny dipping. That would be great. With a pull buoy though. You could have used the pull buoy. Perfect.
But anyway, yes, I do plan to be swimming with a pull buoy only. Kicking is still not in my prescribed allowed exercises, but hopefully in another month. Things are looking good, but I just need to keep basically doing all the little PT stuff for another month. And then hopefully at 6 months, I get that green light to do some more stuff. So I'm bringing my pull buoy. If anyone wants to do some nice leisurely pulling in the French Riviera, feel free to reach out, and I will be out there for sure.
Yes. Where are you staying? Are you staying like close to the race start? Are you going to be utilizing public transportation? I'm a little curious about this.
I need to do some more research about the public transportation. So this is an interesting story. Having gone to Kona for many years, I always felt pretty comfortable and like knew, what you were booking and where you were booking, and kind of had like the spots you like to be and what felt good. And then Nice just like opened up this whole new world. And so I booked an Airbnb quite a while ago. And then about 2 months ago, I got an email that was like, "We've canceled your Airbnb because we think this is a fraud." And so I was like, what?
The Airbnb thought that the
Airbnb thought that Airbnb
fraud.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so
hey, that's better than showing up and finding out it's a fraud.
Oh, for sure. And I still don't know if they really were. They were sending me very nice messages like, "I'll find you on Instagram," to like, why did you can't, like, I don't know. They felt confused about why it was canceled, but I was just like, this is too sketchy. I'm not flying to Nice only to find out that this is a fraud. So like, I just forgot about it and tried to find something new through a more like official booking site. And so I'm really excited. I think we are about 2 kilometers away from transition, just down the promenade, I guess, down that stretch along the beach. We're like a
on
block
the run
off the
course.
beach. Yeah. So I think we'll be right there, and close to everything, which is great because right now I'm supposed to only be walking like a quarter mile at a time. So, I'll have to take a lot of breaks basically. So hopefully there's like some nice shops along the way, some nice food and things like that. And then I was like, Nice doesn't really strike me as the place with those like scooters or city bikes, but I was like, man, if they had those, then I would be in business. But I'll figure it out. I think.
I know. I'm trying to remember, like, it's been 5 years since I was there, and there is a bike path like along that promenade, like right along the beach, which is also kind of where the run course goes.
Okay.
But I would say like the streets, like in Nice, and the traffic was so scary to me.
Oh,
it was
okay.
like, I don't know. I mean, French driving is just different. It's just a little bit more aggressive. I mean, I'm not an assertive driver. So that I know people do rent cars there, but I was not one of them.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that then. No, I'm just planning on taking a taxi and figuring it out from there.
Will you be able to do any sightseeing around then? Because I know you, like I'd mentioned public transportation, you can get on a quick little like train and, go up and down that. What is it, the Azure Coast?
Yeah. And I looked in like Monaco's
d'Azur?
super close. I think there would be some really fun day trips, but at this point, not planning to. I'm getting there, taking the red eye on Wednesday night. So I get there Thursday afternoon, and then the race on Sunday to see athletes a couple days beforehand, kind of take it all in, right? And then the day after, probably get to just download with everyone. And then I fly out on Tuesday. So it's going to be a quick trip, no time for any extras this time around. But like I said, I'm a fan of not always heading to Kona. So hopefully it'll be back. And then maybe next time I can explore some of the other spots along the way.
Yes, there are some great like 50-meter outdoor pools along there.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I know if you're limited to swimming, there are some nice ones. There's one in Nice that's not outdoors, but anyway, sounds like you're gonna have a great time. I'm excited to hear all about it. I'm excited to follow the Feisty feed. As you mentioned, you and I will not be chatting next week, but there will be daily updates from the Feisty crew on the ground in Nice, getting us all hyped, lots of interviews and fun antics. And I think maybe even some new merch. Is that, I heard a rumor on that. So definitely be following these socials and following all the action. I can't wait to track. We didn't prep for this, but I mean, should we be doing picks? Are you going to do picks for the women's race? Is it too soon, or you'll do that next week with Kelly and Sarah?
Yeah, I am not at all prepared to do any picks, I feel like. So I'm gonna have to take a rain check on that. Are you prepared? Do you want to do your picks now and be like, I just felt the calling early, I knew what it was gonna be?
I'm not prepared to do picks.
Okay.
I think I mean, one, I've learned the hard way that you don't actually want to do them too early.
Yeah.
Because a lot can happen. We have like a week and a half, but a lot can happen in that week and a half. And it's best to like kind of find out who's actually starting and who's racing. Otherwise you end up picking people. But I mean, I could pick some ones I think people to watch. I do think there are definitely people who have for sure raced well in this course and done a lot of course recon. I mean, I think Lucy Charles Barclay, defending champion from Kona, but she also did race really well here in 2019 at the 70.3 Worlds. I think she finished 5th in that race, but had a penalty on the bike. And so I think without that penalty, she might have finished a little bit higher up. And then since then has done specific prep on the course, raced Ironman Nice very well, or Ironman France earlier this year very well. And then I know there is a little bit of question after she had like a minor injury in London at T100 London, wasn't able to finish. But I just feel like if she is lining up, Lucy likes to win, she likes to go hard. She likes to win. And so I think she is definitely one of my picks. I think another one is Chelsea Sodero, actually raced very, very well in 2019 as well. And I feel like I'm going back to a race that's 5 years ago, but just this is a course where specific course knowledge does help. And I think that she is feeling a little bit of chip on her shoulder, maybe.
Like slighted, yeah, I think a little bit.
Because of last year, and then just some of the commentary around. She had a great race in Kona last year, I think. I mean, not great for her when you win the year before. The only good result becomes winning again, and she finished 6th. But I do think if she can go into this race healthy, Nice suits her very well. It's a fast run course. It's flat, and I do think she's one to watch if, as long as she goes in healthy and again, little chip on her shoulder, fire there. And then, Annie
Haug, she's racing, right?
I know Annie Haug. Yeah. And went 8:02 in Roth. Like, I mean, and incredibly good at technical courses, European, trains in Lanzarote, which is also, I don't know if exactly technical skills are exactly the same in the two locations, but Annie knows what she's getting into. I talked to her in London a little bit, and while Ironman is not her favorite distance, she acknowledges she's really good at it.
Yeah.
So very, very good one to say. And then honestly, like when you look at this pro series too, the Ironman Pro Series, like this race has more points. It has 6,000 points for first place versus the other Ironman races of 5,000. So and I think like you have, a lot of the women who are in the top of the Pro Series are racing, and a lot of them need a fifth event because they take 5 events. And so it's wild looking at the women's, like the list of who's leading the person. Most of them only have So it's, I mean, fewer. And so you have like athletes like Kat Matthews, who almost has like, I think she only has 3 scores, but they're almost perfect, right? She has a first in Texas, a first in Victoria Ironman, and then a second place in Talon. And so, I mean, if she is up there, you know, in this race, like that should catapult her probably to the top of the series. Jackie Herring, who's leading the series, raced in 2019, raced fairly well, but I think we've actually seen Jackie do even better at Ironman distance. I don't know. I'm gone on. Should I just go through the list and say what I think about each person? So I'm sure I'm missing people. I mean, some of the Germans, we mentioned Annie, but like Laura Philipp, Anna Reichman, I think those are athletes to really watch. I just think that they've done a lot of really good specific work, because as you mentioned, like this course is, the Europeans can get there and train on it. And I think we've seen a lot of them do it. You talked to Marta Sanchez last week, who from Spain, who was able to go and train on the course. And so I think these women are ready. They're very ready, and it is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think we might see some surprises just with the nature of the course and how it keeps kind of the fields on the bike. I think it'll be interesting to see just how it all unfolds. But
do you have a dark mare? Do you have a dark mare?
Gosh.
I'll say I think Anna Reichman is mine, because I don't know if she counts as a dark mare. She flies a little under the radar, I think.
Yeah.
She's a German athlete. I mean, she's raced very well in T100. She was, I think, 5th at Roth. Was she 4th or 5th? I should know this, but just off the podium in Roth. And but I do think, having watched her ride a bike, I think Nice with that bike, and she's also a very, very good runner, I think it's really, really going to suit her. So that's my dark mare wild card, kind of someone to watch who might be going a little under the radar right now.
Yeah, whoa, Susie Cheatham's racing. That is a name I did not think that Susie's been racing forever. Not my dark mare though, however. My dark mare.
She's younger than us.
Is she really?
Yes. I think she's had a baby.
Yeah, she's 38.
And had a little injury.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Man, Susie getting after it still. I think my dark mare is
amazing to see a 38-year-old still out there.
I just meant mostly because she's been at the top, like doing these world championships for a long time. We should get her on. Maybe we'll get her on the podcast. We haven't had her on, have we?
No, you should track her down in Nice.
She used to like race. Isn't it her that used to race with like the leopard print bike or something? I feel like, or am I just thinking
that's Natasha Badman?
Oh,
very different. The cheetah. Her bike is the cheetah. But Natasha, you raced Natasha in her final race.
I did.
Very different athlete. Natasha's in her 50s.
Okay. Well, I didn't think they were the same, but I did think that Susie rode a cheetah bike too, but it's clearly just because her last name is Cheatham. All right. Anyway.
This is an unhinged podcast. Mare, I'm glad we're off next week.
My dark mare is going to be, I think Els Visser. I think she's having a pretty breakout year. I think she can run, and I think she's a good pick for my dark mare. I think is who I'm going to go with, actually.
There we have it. Well, you'll have to follow the action. Hopefully everyone follows the action, both again here on the feed and in Nice, tracking the races, see how my 700 pick do. But I think it's going to be really, really exciting, and it is the first Ironman World Championship for women outside of Hawaii. So historic event, and I'm glad you get to be there and see it all happen.
But I'm not there yet, Haley, and we have a really great interview for everyone with an athlete who will be racing in Nice. Haley, today I talked to Nina Derron, and Nina is part of the Derron trio of sisters. She's a sister to Michelle and Julie, who we talked with a couple of weeks before she took part in the Olympic Games, came home from them with the silver medal. Nina was not on the Olympic racing path herself this season, but in a way she still was. And we talked to her about how she supported Julie and what it was like being in Paris for that race. I talked to her about her quest for the Ironman World Championship this year, coming one spot away from qualifying for Nice this past June. Then she came over to the States, raced Lake Placid to secure a spot. and is now heading to the big dance. Nina is a triathlon veteran. She started in the sport at the age of 5. And so she shares some really great wisdom with everyone in this interview. So we'll hear from her after a word from our sponsors. Chasing Epic is the essence of the Orca brand. It is about seeking the moments in life that make us feel truly alive and connected with the beauty of the world around us.
And let's be real, chasing Epic is feisty.
Orca has been a longtime partner of Feisty, and we work with them year after year because we love their products and their commitment to creating amazing wetsuits made for women. They also supported me on Team USA last year at the One Water race, which was most definitely also chasing Epic.
With Orca's range of triathlon wetsuits, including Apex and Athlex, you can choose between flexibility, buoyancy, or a combination of both. There's a wetsuit for every triathlete and for all of your epic adventures.
And as a Feisty listener, you can get 15% off with the code IronWomen15 at orca.com.
Alyssa, Amino Co. has been a longtime podcast sponsor, and every time I'm listening to the show and I hear our Amino Co. ad, I'm always shocked to hear how Amino Co. co-founder Dr. Robert Wolf has run a marathon in under 2 hours and 30 minutes, 62 times. I just can't believe that's a real stat.
Me either. It is very impressive, and it gives me a lot of confidence Dr. Wolf knows what he's talking about when it comes to performance and recovery. I actually took Amino Co. Heal before and after my recent knee surgery.
I've been using Heal a lot after really big workouts as I've started to ramp up my training. And I also use my personal favorite, Amino Co. Perform, before and during my hardest sessions.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
For Perform, I definitely go with the strawberry lemonade. It has a really light flavor and a little bit of caffeine that I think helps keep me focused during my really tough intervals. And for Heal, I like vanilla. I just feel like vanilla gets me into recovery mode. What about you?
The vanilla Heal is my favorite too. I find it mixes really well into my post-workout shakes that I make.
Wait, what do you put in your shakes?
Well, oftentimes just whatever I have in the fridge, sometimes vegetables, sometimes collagen, whatever I have. Summer shakes are way more interesting because it's like I make them cold. The winter shakes are a little less fancy.
Do you ever add snow to your winter shakes?
I mean, I'm going to start doing that now.
I don't know. Make sure it's clean snow. I am not quite as fancy. I just add water. I think it still works pretty well. But however you like your Amino Co., you can rest assured that in clinical trials, muscle protein synthesis from exercise more than doubled by athletes using Perform, and Heal was shown to trigger muscle growth and repair better than other high-quality protein sources.
Head to aminoco.com/ironwomen to see very large photos of me and Haley using Amino Co products. Then select your favorite products and use code IronWomen for 30% off at checkout. First-time purchases also come with a free gift.
That's aminoco.com/ironwomen and code IronWomen for 30% off.
Hi, Nina. Welcome to the Iron Women podcast. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
We just ended up actually getting on this recording a few minutes late because you had touched base and said, can I have a few more minutes? And then when we got on, you let me know it was because your sister, Julie, just got back to St. Moritz from Paris, from the Olympics, where she is the silver medalist for triathlon.
Yeah.
So what was it like to get to see her now? How is she doing?
Yeah, no, I was looking forward to it, or I'm looking forward to spending a few days with her here. We haven't had much time to really catch up in Paris. Of course, it's been super busy for her. She had lots of great opportunities, and we as a family were really happy to see her in the evening after the race and finally hug her and talk a little bit. But yeah, we haven't had the chance to really, catch up on everything pretty much. So yeah, I just picked her up from the station and she, literally just got back. So lots of catching up to do.
did she make you lug the bike out of the car, or did you get to carry the medal out of the car would be?
Yeah, actually I carried the medal, so it's good
Okay.
that we're three sisters. So my other sister had the luggage, and my Julie carried her bike or pulled her bike, and then I got to carry the medal, which was not like, it was quite heavy
Yeah.
with the box and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into carrying the medal, I bet.
Yeah.
And I do have a ton of questions about your season and everything, but I think the fact that you took the time, right, to head to Paris, support your sister,
Yeah,
as she raced there is a fun story to tell.
of course.
How was it? I guess, first of all, did you go and spectate any other sports other than the triathlon while you were there?
Yeah, no, not really. I was lucky, like I think the morning after I went for like kind of a long run along the Seine, and then there was the walking. I don't know what's the proper name, but where they do the 20K walking
Oh,
event
right, the
was
race
on.
walking.
So
Okay.
yeah, the race walking, exactly. So I got to see a little bit of that and just like walking past the venues, but I didn't really spectate any other events. I think it was pretty difficult to get tickets and expensive as well. But yeah, it was just great to be in Paris and see the whole atmosphere. Of course, the triathlon races. Yeah, it was really awesome.
And did you get to see Julie much beforehand? Did you get to train with her a little bit? Do a shakeout, jog or anything like that before the race?
She went there the Saturday before. Her race was on Wednesday, so we trained together Saturday before she left. And actually, I thought when we were swimming, wow, this is one of her last sessions before her Olympic race, and I'm with her, so I felt kind of lucky to be with her. And then she was in the village, like the Olympic village, and did all her own things. But we could visit her the afternoon before her race, just outside of the Olympic Village, give her a hug, and yeah, that was it. So everything is a bit bigger, and takes a bit more time during the Olympics. So yeah, it was
And
more
what did
difficult to see her.
Yeah. And what did you think about, what was kind of the, I guess, tone on the ground about the swim? Like, because from the media perspective, it was like very big. It was this big, huge,
Yeah.
kind of overhanging everything. Did it seem that way there too? Or was it
Yeah.
less of a big deal in actuality?
Yeah, it was funny because Julie actually started asking people that wanted to interview her, please don't ask me about the Seine again. Because it was literally like the only question everyone wanted to ask, and the answer was always the same. So yeah, I think everyone was kind of intrigued by it, of course, especially the media, and it's a hot topic. And I mean, I get that there's concern for the athletes for the safety and like health issues. So I'm glad they took it serious. But yeah, like Julie always said, she totally trusted the people who took the decision, and like she just relied on them. And as soon as they said go, she just focused on her race. So I think most of the athletes probably thought the same way, and the spectators and the media and everyone else actually thought a lot more about it than the athletes themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for a lot of the media, that's probably one of the only things they understand. Like, they don't understand so much about the sport sometimes. They just latch onto that, right? And
Exactly.
on race day, where did you end up spectating? And then at what point did you know like Julie was gonna be on the podium?
Yeah. So actually we like talked about it a lot. It was me and my middle sister and my parents there mainly. Like there were other friends, but we were like the core fan group of Julie. So we talked if we should all stand together or better separate. So also with the family dynamics, everyone is kind of nervous. So we thought better to split up for watching. But my middle sister and we decided to go out on the bike course in like the corner where actually like lots of the crashes happened. So that was quite it was a good spot, but it was also really nerve-wracking because like every time they came around the corner, especially the first few laps where like lots of the girls crashed, I was just super nervous also for Julie that she wouldn't crash or get involved in a crash. But yeah, that's where we stood, and we had to go quite early. So the race was at 8, and my sister and we also wanted to train before, so we got up at like, I don't know, 4:30, went to like the hotel gym, did a little session, and then we stood there like, I don't know, 90 minutes before, and there were already quite some people, and just got more and more the closer the race got. And it was also raining, so even though there was like, it was still raining, there were lots of people like really excited and getting there early to be in the front of all the spectators.
And so were you able to get over to the finish line, or
No, no
not really?
chance.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
We
Okay.
we tried to get a bit closer, or like a bit closer to the run course, so
Mhm.
we shifted a little bit, but then it was like super difficult again to get in the front row of the, like, we actually told people like, hey, our sister's leading, can we please squeeze in here?
Yeah. And were people
So,
nice,
yeah.
or did they like help
They
shuffle
were
you
not.
in?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think maybe we aimed at some not French spectators, so
Okay.
maybe they were a bit more inclined to let us through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we yelled our hearts out, but like, and then we were like, Julie, you must have heard us, and she was like, no,
Oh.
didn't hear you at all. None of us. There was just so many spectators, and like French spectators, and it was literally like street just yelling "Allez les bleus, allez les bleus." It was really crazy, but like great atmosphere, great motivation from the crowds. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
No.
just the contrast of everything from, the last games being in Tokyo, just being so
Yeah,
different with circumstances,
yeah,
but it did seem like Paris has
yeah.
been, really putting on a show, and there's
Mm,
fans.
yeah,
It's great to see for triathlon and all the sports there. So thanks
of
for
course, yeah,
telling us a little bit about that. And,
yeah, sure.
Nina, your family's so unique. I had the pleasure of talking to Julie just a few weeks ago about how you are three sisters, professional triathletes. You all started triathlon fairly young. You've trained together at various times, and you work together to like promote each other's careers in racing.
Yeah.
What does this Olympic medal then mean to the Derron family?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty difficult to put it in words yet, because it was not surprising, because I've done so many sessions with Julie, or watched her doing the session, so I knew she was like really fit and really capable, but still like no one could expect her to win a medal, so it was kind of a surprise too. So yeah, I mean, the family's just super proud and super happy for her. And yeah, I mean, Switzerland is kind of a small country. Sports is not like the career goal of everyone, so it's like sometimes it's also difficult to like tell people that you're actually doing professional sports and that's what you do. So when you come with an Olympic medal, it just puts a lot of spotlight on Julie, on her career, on triathlon and the sports in general. So I think it means a lot more than we can even imagine right now.
Yeah, and
For us and everyone.
Yeah, I think those who do triathlon understand that it's an individual pursuit, but it's by no means, taking an individual to get what you achieve. And so I just couldn't be more excited for your family getting to watch that unfold. And so congratulations to all of you, because I do think it's, it takes a village, and that's no exception. Now getting into your big news of the last month. So you came over to the States and raced Ironman Lake Placid a couple weeks ago. And spoiler alert, if people didn't pay attention, you ended up with the Nice World Championship spot that you were hoping for by heading over there. So can you tell us a little bit about the race at Lake Placid for you, kind of how it unfolded, and how you feel like, the paper results are one thing, but how did it go for you in your head?
Yeah, it was not a last minute decision to go, but I had it like in the back of my mind, and I did the Nice race in, I don't know, June, I think it was. And after that, I thought, oh, what should I do? Should I try another Ironman race to get the slot, and which one? And I've never been to the States to race, apart from the World Champs in Hawaii a few years ago. So I thought it would be a really cool trip, and like a chance to race somewhere else. And the Lake Placid course looked like it would suit me too. So it was actually hillier than I expected. So I took the decision to also invest some money to get there and everything. Then I was really happy to go. My dad actually joined, and after the race, we went to Syracuse, which was kind of close because he studied there like 30 years ago. So we combined it with a little sightseeing trip after the race. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I was really excited to race another Ironman. It was fairly close to Nice, I think about 5 weeks or 6. But I could put in some good training here in St. Moritz before that. And yeah, I arrived there like 2 days before. Saw a little bit of the course, drove parts of it. So I was, in a good mindset for the race. It was my first Pro Series race as well. So there were lots more people that I was used to from other races, which also just makes you a bit more nervous, of course. And also, like, there were some really strong US girls as well that I haven't really raced before. So it was hard to know what to expect before the race. So I had the Nice slot in the back of my mind, but I just really focused or wanted to focus on putting on a good race. So yeah, the race itself, it was quite funny because the men started and then they said, oh, 2 minutes and then the women go. And there was like no countdown. Suddenly just the gun went. And I think lots of the girls were not ready to start. I was gladly I was ready and got off to a good start. I got in a good group to swim with Jackie Herring, I think, and some others. So it was really good and quite unique with this 2 loop courses where you lapped kind of the age group athletes. So we could take the inside line, but it just felt like a community swim almost because there were so many people swimming at the same time. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, we got onto the bike. I had like a really fast transition and could get settled in like the first 20K or so until I think Jackie and Alice Alberts came past me, and we worked really well as a group, the 3 of us, for the first lap. And I think by the end of the first lap we caught up to Sarah True, and I think 2 other girls were with her. And then it got quite hectic because, of the group dynamics, and with the race ranger system, it was also different, and you had to be really even more conscious of the drafting zone than other races too. So that was new for me as well. And I just tried to not lose too much energy with overtaking and then dropping back again and everything. So and then I got onto the second loop, and it got a bit harder. Maybe I put a bit too much energy in the first lap already, but I just tried to stay strong and really finish the bike as strong as I could. The hills got harder and harder. Like I said, it was quite a lot of elevation, not as much as what I'm used to from here, because here we do like really long climbs that take almost an hour, but then you get like a really long downhill as well. Lake Placid was more kind of rolling, but like constant uphill, downhill. But I liked it. It was a beautiful course. And then I was really happy to get off the bike and I started to run. And it's always kind of in an Ironman, it's always a surprise if you feel good or if you don't feel so good when you start the run. Either way, you just have to get settled in. I felt surprisingly good, and I was really happy about that. So I was just running as I felt kind of, and I saw some girls in front of me, which also really motivated me to try and catch them. So I caught up to 2 girls, and I think I was then in around 5th or 6th spot, but I really didn't know which one has a slot or not. I kind of knew, but not of everyone. So that was also in the back of my mind. I just wanted to get to as close to as many people as I could. So yeah, I had like a really great run. Of course, at some point in the marathon, there will be a point when it gets really tough. That was for me around 30K. So then I really just had to reset and tell myself, okay, just 1K after another, go to the finish line. And the kind of proudest moment of that race was when I was really kind of struggling, and there was the last turnaround. I think it was around maybe 1.5, 2K until the finish line, and I saw another US girl behind me. She was only like, I don't know, 15 seconds, and I just told myself, now you have to try, otherwise you'll regret it. And I just sprinted. It felt like a sprint, but it was probably not fast, but I made it to the finish line in front of her. So yeah, that was just kind of the race animal coming out. And then I crossed the finish line was super relieved to do another good race. I knew, or my dad told me that I got the slot, so that was an extra point. And yeah, I think also during the race, I had a point where I only arrived there 2 days before, so there was not really time to get over any jet lag or anything. So one point in the race, I was like, "What am I doing here? I'm tired. What time is it?" So yeah, in the finish line, I think I was just like super relieved and yeah, tired from the race, tired from the travel, everything else. But yeah, just super happy. Yeah, yeah.
And you were able to sprint into the Olympic Oval, actually, in Lake Placid, where the finish line is there. So maybe if we had been even a little bit more astute, we would have realized that the Olympic kind of theme was bringing all of you good luck this month. So, you know, these last few weeks. So, and you know, speaking of being tired, that race that you had in Nice, a really solid race, but just missing kind of the Nice slot by one slot. You know, that was only, I think I counted 5 weeks before or something, right? So, you know, when you're a professional and thinking through these races and kind of, you know, Europe has a lot of great races that you've raced year after year, good prize money and, you know, less of an investment, like you said, to do that. So was it that the World Championships in Nice was important to you to go to this year, being in a new destination and you like that course? Or was it, you know, like, how are you kind of navigating that decision as a pro?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything. Also, like, for me, it's really important to like get excited for a race and really look forward to it. So this year, I also like at this time of the year, I would usually do the Alpe d'Huez triathlon. Like, it's quite iconic, but I've done it like 4 or 5 times already. So this year, I was like, no, I want to do something new. And then, of course, having raced Nice, I just really love that course. I mean, I would love to go back to Hawaii too and do a good race there, but I just really love the Nice course. So I was really hoping, or I wanted to give myself another chance to qualify. And then I looked at the Lake Placid race or the Vitoria-Gasteiz race, but that was 1 week earlier, so a bit less time to prepare. So yeah, it was also a discussion with my coach, which one would make more sense. And then I just weighed the travel options. It's not too difficult to get to Lake Placid from Zurich. So yeah, that's kind of the thoughts that I had, and that I usually also for every race, it's I want to do it. What are the options? What is the travel? What does my coach think? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And so you have raced the Ironman in Nice, you've raced the 70.3 in Nice in 2018, and did well there too. So, you know, we're asking our Nice bound podcast guests for any tips for the listeners who might be headed there themselves. You know, obviously the climbing is kind of the main headline, right? But is there anything else you can think of, or anything kind of, you know, just specific about that course that people might want to hold in the back of their minds these next few weeks as they train?
Actually, it's the climbing, but also the descending that people would probably need to think about. And actually the climbing, like, there's a few spicy climbs where you need some good gearing, but like the long climbs, they're not actually that steep. Like, I did a lot of them even in my tri bars, so they're not that steep. So you don't really have to worry too much about how hard the climbs are. I think it's more like an endurance thing. So prepare for long climbing kind of. And then just really practice riding with your time trial bike. If you can find some descents you can practice cornering on, even if you don't get a chance to spectate the course beforehand. If you just get used to descending, then it's no problem to descend that course as well. And then of course, one thing lots of people also talk about, it takes a bit longer than like a flat Ironman, so you need to also prepare your nutrition and just be really conscious. It's super hard to still drink from your bottle and get the gels in the long descent in the end, but you want to have energy for the run. So just make sure you take on enough before the descent, or maybe slow down in a corner so you can take on some nutrition in the descending too. It was already pretty warm and in June for the run. So if you can get used to some heat or just make sure you know that it's going to be hot on that run. And get ready for like a mentally tough run as well. It's super flat, but there's wind that can be tricky in one direction, and it's actually just 4 loops straight out, straight back. So there's not a lot of distraction. So you have to be mentally strong on that run, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are my experiences.
Yeah, great tips. Thank you. I think people will be using those as they put together their race plan. And what about you and your training? So this will be your 3rd Ironman in the span of about 4 months, which I think is one of the biggest seasons you've had in terms of racing full distances all together.
Yeah.
So how are you approaching the training for that? Are you kind of just doing a big block? Are you planning on another race here in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I'm actually making it a bit bigger. So tomorrow in a week, I'll race another Ironman. It's gonna be Ironman.
Okay.
So
And yeah,
I've
that's a
done that
very
once
big
now.
one for, but you know,
Yeah.
I guess if you're gonna go big, you may as well go big, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I talked at length about it with my coach, and we said before I entered Lake Placid and planned that one that I would also enter the Ironman, because you never know what's going to happen in a race. So yeah, he just basically said if you don't qualify, then you're going to regret not entering Ironman. So and after the race, we just looked at my recovery. It's been kind of a in between few weeks now anyway, with recovering from Lake Placid, going to Paris, everything that came with it. So I had time to recover, and just a few key sessions now, and then I'll get ready for another race. I'm like really happy this year to be healthy and fit. Last year I had like a lot of stomach issues in all my long distance races, so I kind of got to the bottom of it, and it's going much better this year. So I'm also excited to race and use this fitness. And I think Ironman will be a really good preparation for Nice. It's going to be another really hilly race. So yeah, I'm really excited to do that one. And then I again have like 5 weeks to first recover and prepare some more for Nice. But yeah, I always feel like, I don't know, in Europe, it's kind of, or it's always been that way for me, that I'm feeling the strongest when autumn sort of arrives. So like, August, September. So I'm really looking forward to the Nice race in September. And I think, yeah, hopefully I'll be at my best then. Yeah.
Definitely. And going back to kind of the family dynamics of things, and you're racing a lot this summer, all of that. June was a crazy month with your own race, and kind of having your hopes up for getting your world championship spot and finding your path there. Julie found out that she got that spot for the Olympics, right? So were you guys training together at that time? And like, just kind of, how do you balance your like hopes for yourself and kind of your focus on that, with making sure you're happy for your sister, right? That things are obviously going well for her, but you're still kind of waiting for your moment, right? Like what was all of that like in those kind of weeks of that time?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, of course, because I think it wouldn't be possible to do this close with anyone else than my sister Julie, because we know each other for such a long time. We train in the same environment, so we are just really supportive of each other's dreams and hopes, and also goals. So I think like last year already and this year we just really got into like a really good rhythm together. We don't live together when we are in Zurich. I live with my partner there, but like in St. Moritz, we share an apartment. And then at the start of the camp, sort of, we get used to each other again and have those little quirks that each of us has, and like, oh, you should do this more, or you should do that more. And then we just get into a really good groove. And for the training, we don't do like all the sessions or many sessions together, but like there's like a weekly plan, kind of like swim days. So we go together to the swimming pool. We go together when we have a track sessions, but we don't do the same session. But I know exactly what she's doing and she knows what I'm doing. So if one of us has like a really good session, we can tell each other, or if we have a bad session, we can also talk about it. And that just really helps to always have someone that, you know, really understands what it means, what emotions you go through. And yeah, we just talk about it a lot. And then we have other stuff that we talk about as well, not just triathlon. So that helps. Yeah, I think we are really like just really good friends, and also sisters. So I think with like the sister dynamics, when we were like kind of teenagers, it was a lot more difficult, because we were also like racing more against each other, and you know, you're growing up, and it was just more difficult to not be jealous of each other and like even fight kind of. But like now we're older and we know what it means to race as a professional. It's not an easy life, it's not an easy job. So yeah, we don't want to put each other down. We just really want to help each other succeed. And I mean, if Julie succeeds, that's also a success for me, and vice versa. So yeah, it's like teamwork kind of. And of course, I mean, we're sisters. There's moments when we argue as well, so that's just normal life.
Well, that's good to know too.
Yeah.
That, you know, you are still humans and sisters underneath it all. Nina, this is I think it's like your 9th year racing long course, at least as a professional. And you started this sport so young, but you have managed to stay, like, you know, it's very rare to find someone still racing long course who was racing in 2013, 2014 kind of time frame. You made it to the Ironman World Championships in 2019. I think you're going back, you know, 5 years later. And I think if people look at our sport over the last 5 to 10 years, it's gotten so much faster, right? The fields have gotten deeper for the women. It's like really kind of coming into its own. And so to find yourself, you know, at the top again and on podiums, I think that's really special. And so what do you know, what's keeping you motivated? Is it the competition aspect, or is it something else?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's like, it's weird when you look back and it's been so many years. It like kind of time flies, you know, it doesn't feel that long. And to be honest, I think I just really love the training, first of all, and then I also love the racing. So I can't imagine my life without it. And that's just why I always kept going. And then, of course, it's always, or it has been in the last 5 years for everyone, there were the COVID years where there was no racing really. So that was kind of an off period where you just really had to decide if you want to still keep racing, keep training without really knowing when it's going to start again. For me, there has also been like kind of longer term injuries where it was also difficult to know, like, you know, will I make it back? How will I make it back? And then I always decided to kind of keep going. And then when you kind of start again from like a lower level, it's just so motivating when you get better and faster again. And that's like, I think before, like the comparing and competing with everyone else, that's what I strive for the most, just to see the improvement in myself. And that what really motivates me to like see how far I myself can go. Yeah, and then I just really love the racing too. So of course I compare with other people, and it's also motivating for me to see how the sport evolves. And I'm just like really happy, especially this year, to like be part of it again, be at the front of races, and know I can be there. And like that just really motivates me to keep going, keep thriving. Probably also like my environment, like with my sisters and the team around me, that also really supports me, that helps to keep going. And then I've always done kind of a not like straight professional career. I've always studied or worked beside it. So I've always kind of had like something else on the side. So I think that also helped me to be balanced and not just focus on triathlon. So that probably helped my longevity in the sport as well. And at the same time, I have to say that's also, there were times that was super difficult to combine both of it. And like now I finished my PhD at the start of this year, and I reduced reduce my workload. I'm still working a bit on the side, but I think it really helped me this year also to make like a big step in my fitness and form, to reduce the side job kind of a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that balancing.
Sorry, a long answer.
No, that was great. I imagine that balancing PhD work with pursuing professional triathlon is quite a bit. So, and do your sisters have PhDs, or are they working towards that as well?
Yeah. So Julie has a master's degree. She finished that about 1.5 years ago, and since then she's fully focused, or was fully focused on the Olympics. So after that, she didn't continue studying for the moment. And my middle sister is actually a lawyer, so she has a law degree and also works as a lawyer. So
yeah. Something's in the water with whatever you were all drinking. I think with growing up, it has made you have a lot going on. But clearly, that I think it's great, because I think it shows the layers to success, longevity, motivation, right? And kind of having yourself have a lot of layers that you can count on at different times of life has probably been an important part of the story.
Exactly. And it's also kind of the Swiss way, like in Switzerland, it's super important to have like a good education. And like I said, you have to explain to people why you're doing just sports, kind of, even though I don't think that it's just sports, but yeah, it's just the way it is here. Yeah.
And my last question for you is that I read that you can't live without chocolate. And so I will say that whenever I've traveled over to Europe to race myself, I always come home with like tons of chocolate, tons of candy, because it's better over there. I don't know what it is. So I'm curious to know if people, everyone traveling over to Nice for the World Championships, what kind of chocolate should they be looking at for, I think, a pre-race treat, to be honest. I don't even think wait till after the race.
So yeah, I really like dark chocolate, so I think that's also the most healthy one, of course, but yeah, I really like it too, so that's a good snack for everyday training as well, especially when you train as much as all triathletes do, so a little bit of chocolate can't hurt. So yeah, I eat that before the race as well. And then in Nice, I mean, Swiss chocolate is the best, but I think they have pretty good French chocolate too, and they have like really good ice cream in Nice too, and I enjoy chocolate ice cream after the race. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's a lot. So I'm not even racing, and I'm going to be enjoying all of that when I go over to spectate.
Of course, you should.
I plan on that. But Nina, thank you so much for taking the time. I look forward to getting to cheer you on in Nice. I mean, I don't want to, jinx ourselves here, but I did talk to Julie the few weeks before the Olympics. So I feel like coming on the IronWomen podcast is a very good omen. So hopefully you can kind of keep that with you through Ironman and into Nice, and everyone will be out there cheering for you.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. I hopefully see you in Nice.
Alyssa, have you noticed how many professional triathletes are using precision fuel and hydration these days?
I have definitely seen past podcast guests like Ellie Salthouse and Fenella Langridge post about it.
Precision fuel and hydration is quickly becoming a top nutrition source for professional athletes, and now IronWomen listeners can give it a try and support the show. Precision fuel and hydration has a range of gels, chews, and drinks to help you hit your carbohydrate and sodium needs.
And if you aren't sure about your carbohydrate and sodium needs, they offer free video consultations and a knowledge hub with a ton of articles and videos.
Feisty Triathlon podcast listeners can get 15% off their first order of fuel and electrolytes with Precision Fuel and Hydration. Simply use the code FTP15 when checking out at pfnh.com. New bike? List your old one for sale on Bicycle.
Listing your bike takes 3 minutes or less. First, you select the bike's brand, model, and year, all within a few simple clicks, and then upload a few pictures of the bike. Bicycle will suggest a price for you depending on the condition you state it's in, but the price you list is completely up to you. There's even a handy tool that will automatically drop the price after 2 weeks if the bike hasn't sold. When the bike sells, Bicycle will send you a cardboard box and packing material to your door, as well as arrange collection by a courier at a time that is convenient for you. Easy.
Head to bicycle.com, that's BUYCYCLE.com, and use the discount code LIVEFEISTY, that's all one word, to get free seller protection when you sell a bike on Bicycle.
Thanks so much to Nina for coming on. Good luck in Nice. And if the IronWomen podcast kind of, what's the opposite of curse, Haley?
Like offers good luck.
Yeah, I mean, the
boost,
IronWomen podcast, like karma, right?
Oh,
Karma,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
then I think Nina could be looking at second place in Nice. Maybe Nina is one of my picks. So we'll put that in. I'm gonna text you my picks, Haley, before the race, my official picks. So that you have them before the race, no cheating, and we can go through them in our wrap-up show.
Okay, that works. I know I wish all of our guests, our lovely guests, the best karma. And Alyssa, I'm excited for you to finally go have your French girl summer and get to France, because it feels like everything is happening in France this summer. I was trying to think, okay, what time is this race probably starting? Well, Ironman starts around 7 a.m., might be a little bit earlier, but and it's so easy for me now because I'm like, oh, 7 a.m. France time is 11 p.m. Mountain time. I can like do that math so easy because I've been doing it all summer for the Olympics, the Paralympics. And, you know, just it's been a very fun summer of happenings in France. So I'm excited to keep that rolling with the Ironman World Championship.
Yes. And Haley, in the meantime, couple 3 weeks out from Ironman Chattanooga. You're probably just wrapping up the thick of it. So enjoy the last little bit of this build for you. And I will talk to you in a couple weeks.
I will do that. Talk to you later, Alyssa. Safe travels. Bye. You've been listening to the IronWomen podcast hosted by Haley Chura and Alyssa Godesky.
IronWomen is a production of Feisty Media and is edited by Lydia Russell and produced by Ella Natitian.
Head to livefeisty.com to find more podcasts, stories, and fresh perspectives.
Thanks for listening.